Hi again, this is Professor Innes, and for this week, Module 6, we are studying on the problems of epistemology and the starting of the discussion of rationalism as argued by René Descartes. So, what we need to do is, well, quickly understand what is epistemology. Here, we have one of the cornerstones of philosophy, or modern day contemporary philosophy, whereby we're questioning the existence of certain knowledge, in the sense that people make knowledge claims, presume, they have this assumption that what they're saying is true, but have they really examined it to be true? So, common day example, you've probably all heard this one: have men been on the moon? Now, we're told they've been on the moon, and there's film footage of men being on the moon, and apparently we have these things called moon rocks. Now, you think to yourself, okay, that would be enough evidence, wouldn't it? But you've got to be careful about this evidence, because it might be the case that, really nobody has been on the moon, and the film footage was made in some studio somewhere. We've got men who said they've been on the moon. Well, maybe even they think they've been on the moon, but they haven't. You just don't know. They could be lying as well. So all this evidence there could break down very, very quickly after investigation. So in that sense, that as a common example of assumed knowledge, we go forward to think, how do we actually come about this knowledge in the first place? So we think about us as human beings, and we think to ourselves, right, okay, the main faculty we have as human beings which deals with knowledge is the mind. If we're more materialist in nature, we say it's the brain. But either way, brain or mind will for academic reasons, we'll just say that they're the same at the moment, for sake of argument. Now, this faculty has knowledge, or claims to knowledge, but the problem overall is that this brain, is disconnected from that which it claims to know. The way we get knowledge is through the five senses, and the sense of touch or smell therefore channels this raw data to the mind or the brain, and then it's made sense of by the mind or the brain. So in effect, that thing that does the knowledge claim, or claims to have that knowledge, it is in fact not in contact with that world in which it claims to know. So the next time you smell something, you drive through Nampa, for example, past the sugar factory at, say, 6 o'clock in the morning, you think to yourself, what sort of smell is this? Is this a pleasant smell or a not pleasant smell? Can I actually describe the smell itself? If I have to refer to other things it smells like, then really do I know what it smells like? If I have to say it smells like, I don't know, something musky smell from, rotting debris or something like that, I'm really referring to something else to say it smells like this. So we don't really put our finger on the thing we're talking about, and in the sense that we know what it is. We tend to mess around and refer to other things to say what this thing is like. So knowledge, therefore, as far as we're concerned here, is something we have in the mind, which is provided by the raw senses, by the five senses, which provides that raw detail, and the mind makes sense of that raw detail. Then we think to ourselves, we've got a problem in a sense: is this mind really making sense of this raw detail? That's the overall problem. So hopefully that made sense within epistemology, and that's what we're dealing with as far as knowledge, because it is a problem. Right, and if it was the mind that was in direct contact with the physical world, we wouldn't have a problem, but we do have that problem. Now, thereafterwards, we have the theorists in this course, just to make sure we've got René Descartes, John Locke, and George Berkeley, who are going to attempt, and I say attempt, to solve the problem of epistemology. And by saying attempt, we're going to realize that all three really quite fail at what they've done here. But they are contemporary answers within the big world in which we live, out there in the thick of people making knowledge claims. They are the ones which people refer to either knowingly or unknowingly. Lots of people think themselves to be rationalists, therefore they're going to come up with the view of knowledge by the use of mathematics. Or, as Locke says, we have knowledge through sense data, therefore experience. And lots of people say, I have experienced this, therefore it exists. And we'll leave Berkeley till later. So these theorists are those ideas which are referred to in general anyway. It's not something we were dealing with as pure academic work to talk about knowledge just for the fun of it. It is something which goes on around us all times, especially with experience. You know, lots of people say to know something you have to experience it, and others with Descartes say that you have to use abstract, objective thought to come up with an understanding of something. Sherlock Holmes, for example, uses objective thought, rationalistic discourse. Often sense experience is misleading, or if we do refer to sense experience, we have to refer to it through a rationalistic method. So again, hopefully this is making sense. So in that way, I can, in my judgment of my surroundings, say that I have problems in saying that I know what is occurring. And again, it is often the case that we do not know what is occurring. So in that way, I say to myself, I have to be careful. Philosophers say they have to be very careful when making knowledge claims, because at the end of the day, it may just bubble down to being just an opinion, and that's all there is to it. So, okay, so we'll get on to our understanding of this particular module. Here, you're just going to deal with Descartes in this module. You're going to read the introduction sentence, introduction chapter, do the questions. That's one set of questions. Then you go into Descartes, and you've got two more sets of questions to do there with the reading. With Descartes, you've got to understand that he is a rationalist, and he says that we have only mathematics as a general view of understanding the external world. With Descartes, all sense experience is very, very doubted, to the point whereby we have to reject it. So we look into the sky, see the sun, it's 3 inches across, therefore I can't say that my sense experience is reliable, because what I see is not in fact what it is. We know the sun to be far bigger than it is. We see the car driving down the road, it gets smaller. Now, it appears to get smaller, we say to ourselves. It's not actually getting smaller. But that knowledge is quite complex, because we could say if we didn't have that type of rationalistic discourse, we would have to say the car is getting smaller, and it may even cause us a great deal of psychological trauma, in the sense that things are getting smaller when they go away and bigger when they come back. But we have something in us, something innate, which says here quite clearly that it is not what it seems. And there's a lot out there which we calculate as being the case, as being not what it seems. You're going to watch clips of The Matrix, feature film, which deals largely with Descartes' discourse, in the sense that we have the situation whereby things are not as they seem. We have this fantasy world in our minds, and really what's out there is far different from what we actually see. So it might be the case that the rationalists will tell us that, you know, what we have in our minds has got nothing to do with what's actually going on out there. So it is a fantasy world, or simply we've got it wrong. Either way, we need to instead reject our sense experience and go to mathematics, physics, the objective, non-human sciences, which Descartes considered mathematics, physics to be non-human. Go and study those, learn them, and then apply them to understanding the big wide world in which we live. Until then, we are just living in this fantasy world, this world of our own making, full of bias, opinion, and so forth and so on. It doesn't make sense. So in that way, The rationalist says quite clearly you've got to go away and do mathematics and apply that to the understanding of the world. Rather, complex, we might say, but until then we're just uttering opinions, and not very good opinions at that. We can utter opinions, but unless they're based upon mathematics and they have been clarified and rigorously investigated, then really we shouldn't even express opinion. It's just nonsense, really. So with Descartes, it's quite clear, quite clear that mathematics is needed to understand the external world. So that's his position, and that's the one you're looking at mostly for this particular module. So look at the, make sure you look at the videos. They're very useful in this section here. The reading, of course, very useful as well, your discussion, and your blog. And of course your journal. So what I'm going to set for you to do as your journal is to apply Descartes. So therefore you're going to read about Descartes, and you're going to watch the videos on the matrix. So I'll go to the videos here on the matrix. Where are they? Reading questions. Reading. Okay, there we go. So 6.03. So you've got the matrix ones here, and you're going to think about those particular matrix examples, and you're going to write, once you put forward your initial journal entry, you're going to write about the matrix and how it applies to René Descartes. So you're going to do an analysis. So therefore there's a bit of popular culture here out in the big wide world. You're going to think about Descartes and write about you're going to think about the matrix and apply Descartes to this understanding of the matrix. It should be straightforward, and it's going to be your writing here. I've left it vague enough for you to just do your stuff here, but it is therefore using Descartes to understand the matrix. So write, say 200 words on that, please, as a journal entry after you've done your initial entry, and I write my reply. So this will be the reply to my reply. Don't do this as an initial entry. Your initial entry is what you think. Your reply to mine will be on the matrix. Right, hopefully that's clear for you to do. And again, it is vague, it is general. I'm saying general, I shouldn't use the word vague. It is general enough for you to do a bit of analysis on the matrix from Descartes' writing. Okay, so that will be your reply to my reply. Right, again, don't make sure this is not your initial reply, please. Okay, so that should do for our discussion here on Module 6. So with that, I'll say good luck with everything, and keep in mind that epistemology is different. You're questioning things which you probably haven't questioned in a way before, and questioning in a way which maybe other subjects don't like you to question. But anyway, let me know if you've got any questions or any clarification needed. This is a very different module, very different way of thinking. Right, so let me know if you need anything. Okay, good luck and see you later. Thanks. Bye.